Good Wednesday morning to Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich, and this is your outlook for New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2014. We're going to have a much colder day today, and temperatures are going to be struggling to get out of the above freezing in many locations. Actually, most locations are going to be below freezing, and the only areas that we expect to go above freezing are going to be for around the Philadelphia area and points south and southeast. From everywhere else, we're talking about temperatures that are going to be stuck in the 20s up here in this area and below 32, probably below, northwest of that line right there. So it's going to be a very chilly day. Good thing is the winds aren't going to be too terribly bad, but as we get into this evening, they will increase a little bit, and they'll give some wind chills in the 15 to 20 degree range. So we'll feel a little bit cold, so just be aware for that if you are going out for New Year's Eve, or to celebrate the holiday. Hopefully everybody's doing that safely, but just make sure you protect yourself from the cold, because it's definitely going to be a cold evening under clear skies, and not expecting any clouds or precipitation whatsoever for your New Year's Eve to hamper any plans. So go further here into New Year's Day itself. And we have much of the same, and temperatures might moderate a few degrees, maybe 2 or 3 degrees higher than it was that we're expecting today. And then we get into Friday, and moderates even more, but nothing too terrible here. We're talking about temperatures in the maybe mid to upper 30s here as we get into Friday. It's going to be a weak system here passing to our north. It will not affect our coverage area. Wouldn't be surprised if a flurry slips far enough south down here into northern Pennsylvania up to about the Williamsport and Scranton area, but that'll be about the extent of it. And then that system moves out of here. Now we move our eyes now to Saturday. This is the big storm we've been talking about that we're expecting to come in this weekend. There's been a lot of questions with this storm. Where it was going to track. I think we have a pretty good handle now on the track, but there's still a couple solutions, two to be exact, that we can show you what will. We narrowed down from three yesterday, three possible solutions. Now we're down to two. So hopefully by the time we get to tomorrow, we're down to one final solution. But there is one we're favoring over the other by a 70 to 30 margin. So first of all, high pressure sitting up here over New England. This is going to be a key player in what happens here, and this is going to create some what we call cold air damming, and that's basically cold air that's forced into the system here. As this system's moving in from the southwest here, the precipitation is going to be followed in some very cold air, and that's going to be locked in by this high. The only problem is, as far as keeping it mostly frozen, snow and ice combination here, this high would have to stay in the place, but it's going to be retreating out in this direction. And because it's retreating, it's going to allow this warm air to advect and move in a little bit quicker. So we will have a start off in some areas with snow, which will transition to a mix of snow and sleet, then eventually all sleet, and then freezing rain, and then plain rain overnight Saturday night is what we're looking at here. So one thing when we have cold air advection, with a high that's in this position with a cold air damming, that's what I wanted to say, the cold air damming, that favors the valley locations that like to hold on to the cold air a little bit longer. You basically have warm air overriding cold air at the surface, and then it becomes trapped in the valleys. So we'll be aware of that. If you are going to be out on Saturday evening, it could be especially dicey across some areas, especially in valley locations. Again, we're going to narrow down the more specifics as we get a little bit closer here, but this is really starting to come into a agreement now what's happening here. Here's a look at Saturday afternoon, and then here's Saturday evening. Now you can see what's starting off here. This is all associated with this low pressure sitting here, and as this is moving off to the northeast, it's taking all the precipitation with it. But again, this cold high is now 1,039 millibars, which is pretty strong. Still close enough here that has an influence of bringing cold air here into the northeast. So this area will start off as snow up in this area right here. But you see that's going to quickly transition behind it to sleet, which is indicated here in this orange, and then freezing rain, which is in this pink right here. So it's going to transition, first start off as snow, then the next wave comes in and it's sleet, freezing rain, and then we get rain behind it. So that's basically what's going to take place, and we're pretty confident. Again, 70% chance that something like this takes place. But again, we do change over to plain rain overnight in all areas. We're going to hang on a little bit here in northeastern PA with that freezing rain until it does warm up overnight, but we do think it does. Especially we finally do get redevelopment here with the primary heading up here into western New York or southeastern Quebec, but we'll redevelop and send a to another system offshore here. This is a Miller B, but in order for us to get an all snow event, that would have had to happen here, transfer taking place here, and then transferring to another low sitting down here, further south. So it's going to be good for these guys up here with this transfer. So you're going to get pretty good snows up north to the north of us, but it's going to phase the interaction between the two, and the redevelopment is going to occur a little bit too late to help us for a snow event. Either way, that moves off, and then Sunday is going to become increasingly windy. In the afternoon, the cold front comes through, and it's going to be becoming partly cloudy on Sunday afternoon, but again, increasingly windy, very windy, in fact, as we get to Monday evening, or Sunday evening, and then the winds will start dying down a little bit here on Monday, but with high pressure in control, we go back to mostly sunny skies, but temperatures will be back down, to below freezing for highs again. So warming up just in time for the storm, but then going back below freezing, looks like. As we go over to the snow map here, this is the most aggressive snow map here, and this is showing on the GFS here. You can see the snow gets up pretty far to the south here. Some of these are very light amounts here. They're all showing under 3 inches, but this is accounting for both snow and ice, so it's probably not that much snow on the front end. You can get a quick inch, maybe 2, maybe a little bit more up here for the far northern tier, but most places are like an inch or 2 of snow, then kind of go over to sleet and then freezing rain. Hopefully not at a substantial amount of time that sleet and freezing rain occurs, but then that's all going to change over to rain as this moves into the southeast. Again, this is one of the more aggressive solutions on the GFS, showing these snow totals. I wouldn't get excited about snow for this. We're going to be very limited in the amount of snow you get on the onset, and then we're going to go over before we go over to ice and then plain rain. So, reason this is happening is we have basically a northern stream system, southern stream system here, and these are going to interact and phase together. And the earlier this phases, the more west this goes. Canadian today took this thing up way up here into Wisconsin, and that's because it phased it really quickly. And if that happens, you're going to get 95% of this to be rain. This entire storm will be 95% rain, and you'd have temperatures reaching 50s or even near 60 in southern New Jersey and Philadelphia, way out ahead of it with this if it phased that early. Most solutions are not that aggressive with that, though. It has the phase coming in a little bit later, so it kind of goes over like this, over Lake Erie. It does phase eventually, and then it actually redevelops here off the coast, but a little bit too late for our area. And then you get something like the GFS solution that we just showed. There's still another option. It's that this is a lower chance percentage, maybe 20% that this happens, and that's that you have a system just at this northern stream system energy and the southern stream energy do not phase, which renders the southern stream energy just weak, and it kind of just heads out like this. But it does give us a light to moderate snowfall. It will be much colder in that solution, but again, that's a low chance probability at this point, so we're not going with that. Our best call right now is, again, what the GFS is showing here, is what we're going to go with. Hold on a second. GFS solution is what we're going to go with that start to snow here, transitioning to sleet, freezing rain, and then going to rain for just about everybody in our coverage area, and that would occur at some point Saturday evening or overnight. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Marchers, and that is your outlook for New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2014. Have a great Wednesday.